What's going on, YouTube? It's me, Ninja Turtle, and I'm back once again showing off another custom action figure that I've made. This time it is X-23, aka Laura Kinney, and this is supposed to be a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 version of her, though she's worn this outfit outside of the game. That's just where the inspiration for the game came from. And not only that, this is just the first of my hopefully many of custom action figures that I make that are inspired by the Marvel vs. Capcom series, and will be on like a separate display shelf away from the normal X-Men and other action figures that I have in my collections. But as with the other videos, I'm going to help you and try to show you exactly what I did, and not like a step for step. This does assume that you have some knowledge of customizing or that you have the ability to learn, but this will more help you show and tell you and show you exactly what I did. So if you wanted to have one for yourself, you can make it for yourself. Again, this is a custom. I made this, though it's modified. So let's start from the bottom. All right, I'll do my best to show this off, and hopefully the Zoom will cooperate with us. But here at the bottom, we have one of the things that is the main feature. I'll show you the actual inspiration or the body mold where this came from, but the body mold where this came from did not have foot claws, and that's one of the things that Laura Kinney has that separates her or makes her more distinct from Logan Wolverine, is that she has claws in her feet. The feet that came on this figure, which came from the X-Force version of X-23, these are pretty much like goth boots. They use them on other figures. I think Nico Minoru has these boots as well, and Magic, the Walgreens version, has these exact same boots, but they don't come with foot claws, and neither did this X-23. So I actually had to make these. These are epoxy sculpt, and what I did is I took a Dremel and I sawed into, or cut into, just like a little nash into each front of the boot, the front of the boot, and then just fashioned some knives out of epoxy sculpt, and I set it in there, and that little slash I made, glued it in, and we waited for the glue to dry, and there's still like some open exposed area. So with that, I took some more epoxy sculpt and filled it in, so that way it could be smooth and, you know, relatively like look like it's coming out of the boot, that there's no holds there. And afterward it was painted. So this time with the paint, again, I use Model Masters for pretty much all of the body. Any of the hard plastic, I'm going to use Model Masters. The boot was already black, but the epoxy sculpt comes out gray when it's dried, and it's pretty much a light gray. And I ended up using steel this time. This is Model Masters steel, and that with some Mod Podge gloss to give it a little bit of shine. It's not as shiny as I want. Initially I really want this to be chrome, but I didn't see any Model Master chrome type paint. So when I do more Laura Kinneys or Wolverines or any other character that might have like adamantium or something like that, shiny armor, I might experiment a little bit and see if I can't find not only different types of paint from Model Masters, but maybe other acrylic paint, because I really do want it to be a nice shiny chrome like sheen to it. And this is cool, but I want it to like really pop and stand out, because I'm even thinking about repainting my Silver Surfer once I find the right paint, so he can, like, basically you look at him and you can see your reflection. That's what I want, and that's what I want out of the adamantium. But I used different paint. I didn't use this paint for the claws up here. I'll get back to that, but this is steel. All right, now getting back to the rest of the figure, it is a direct repaint and reworking of this X-Force figure that came out a few years ago. The main differences are the face, obviously the sculpt on the chest, and the belt. So all of the legs are the same. The paint on the sides is gray and the plastic color is black, so all I did was remove the gray paint with some acetone, some nail polish remover, and then I did sand it and repaint it on this side, so that way it's all one smooth color of black. And then you can see here on the shorts, that's the same thing, or the the bottom part or the top parts of the pants. This time I didn't sculpt any of that. Normally I would, but it's just painted. Nothing fancy there. The belt itself actually came from Black Widow. Now I didn't use this Black Widow in particular. I used the actual the Target exclusive Black Widow that is the all white. I used that belt instead, but you can't see a difference in that. This one is I didn't paint this belt whatsoever as far as the gold part. This one's more, it's gold, but it's like kind of yellow and kind of dull. And the Walgreens, or excuse me, the Target version is more of a kind of dark, more sheen type of gold to it. But there is that difference also here. So I did zoom in a little bit or get it closer. I did my best to make an X in there. It wasn't great, and I wish I had a little bit more patience with myself and made it a better looking X than what it came out to be. But there's an X, and then I painted some blue in there because that's exactly how she is in the game with the blue. And then these are supposed to be rings as opposed to like this full circle or whatever you want to call it. So instead of trying to cut that out, because that would have been near impossible, at least with what I had have available plus my own skills, we're just going to pretend that they're holes, and that's why I painted black all in the middle of the circle. So I was still thinking about pushing this down as far as possible and then gluing it to her belt or gluing it to her waist, so that way it will be actually on the black, so that way it'll look like it is invisible or go through whatever. Or if what you could do is do better than I do and just paint this higher on the actual waist, so that way when you do yours it'll sit properly on her waist. But it doesn't look too bad like this, in my opinion. Right, back to the more direct comparison. It is the exact same body though, like I said before. The waist is the waist, all of that is the exact same, unchanged. The upper torso is the same, but then I removed all of this gray paint, all of the markings there, and it was just a black torso. Then I took epoxy sculpt again and fashioned her a top, as well as the choker and the little pendant there. So all of that is sculpted, and then the bare chest part, that is just how her chest naturally sits and how it naturally is. The arm sleeves are also sculpted. That's something that I didn't need to do, and it's something that I am working around and trying to learn. Not that it turned out bad or anything, but one of the things that I've had a problem with is when I'm using epoxy sculpt on the wrists. I had this issue when I made the Magic. That would be my last custom, but right around the wrist, because that's where the actual fist is going to go into the joint. When you push that in, at least when I've been pushing the wrists in there, the hands, that joint will expand the plastic. But because there's epoxy sculpt around the plastic, it's now expanding the epoxy sculpt. It's already dried and hardened, so I'm actually breaking it every time I try to put it in there. So right now they're set, and that's fine, so I don't have to worry about that. But if I ever wanted to up and down the wrist on the hinge, then I'm putting this at risk of breaking the epoxy sculpt, because it's now putting pressure on the epoxy sculpt. So right now, I hope I don't really want to repose her, because I don't want to break her epoxy sculpt. Same thing with Magic. Other than that, flesh tone paint, again, more Model Masters paint. I mixed the two flesh tones that they have and just got this color. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to be a perfect match with her head. This head, by the way, let's go ahead and get right into that. So this head is from Laura of the all new, all different Wolverine. It's the just popping on there because they use the exact same body mold for making this, even though this is a newer one. It's just the alternate head sculpt that came with this, so that's why the skin doesn't match. I did think about repainting it at the same time I did the rest of the body so it would match, but I didn't want to put that much effort into it. But it still doesn't look too bad, and then from a distance it really doesn't look like you can tell a difference whatsoever. But that's pretty much it. There is very simple. It took me a little while just because I didn't have time to work on the sculpt on the hands or on the arms, but other than that, It's really not that complicated of a custom, and I will be doing more X-23 Laura Kinney's in the future. I'm going to probably need at least one more of these heads, but I am actually planning on redoing this one. One of the reasons why is because I don't like her height. So in general, this is X-23 when she was much younger, and she's older now, and she's grown up. So one of the height differences is that she was 5'1" here, and she's like 5'5", 5'6" now, or more recently. This is still a couple years ago, so there's more costumes of her since then, but she's taller now, and she doesn't have this stunted growth like her father, quote-unquote father, Wolverine. So they, at Hasbro, they keep putting her on the same body. At least we've gotten 2 figures from them. They keep putting her on the same body. I think she should be taller in this costume. So this is something that I plan on remaking at some point relatively soon. Not any immediate plans right now, but I do want to redo this one. Okay, and here's all 3 of them right next to each other. Again, on the left is my custom Marvel vs. Capcom 3 inspired X-23. In the middle, all new, all different Wolverine, and on the right is X-Force. Alright, had to make sure I got them all on the same level, on the same table that I have here, but here's a height comparison. So we have my custom X-23 on the left, my custom Magic. So again, if you didn't watch it, this is a custom Magic. This is not the Walgreens version. This is not the SDC. This is my own Magic, that because I wanted her taller, and if I didn't do that, she would be the same height as X-23. Magic is about 5'5". X-23 at this age was 5'1". And then we have a standard female body, the Black Widow, the retro with the newer head sculpt. But as you can see, she stands taller than X-23, and she's a little bit taller than Magic. So I don't actually know off the top of my head how tall Black Widow's supposed to be, but I would gather she's like 5'8", 5'7", or something like that. So she should be a little taller than Magic and significantly taller than X-23, and I think that pretty much nails that. Alright, again, that's it. A pretty simple custom. Thanks for watching this video again. Oh, lastly, I did forget to mention the hand claws. I did repaint those. I used some more leather acrylic paint on that. It didn't turn out as good as I had liked. The color that I picked was silver, because I believe that's the only silver gray metallic type color that they have, but I'll have to recheck that. Again, I really would love for that to be chrome so that they can pop and be really shiny. I did use a Mod Podge gloss on that as well, and it just doesn't really do a whole lot, but that's for a first attempt. We'll see. Like I said, I might try to get some different kinds of acrylic paint, different brands, and see if I can do better than what these two have offered for future adamantium laced skeleton people, and bones and claws, swords and armor, things like that. I do have quite a few of those planned. In fact, my next build has quite a bit of blinging silver-ish chrome metal armor all over her, if that's a clue. But make sure you check out my Discord. I'll leave a link for that in the description below, so you can see all of my behind the scenes and work in progress pictures. I also have a additional YouTube channel for gaming content, as well as I stream Monday through Friday gaming content on my Twitch channel, and I do some work on my action figures on Sundays on the same Twitch channel. So make sure you check out all of those links and hit me up if you have any questions just about what I've made or future things that you want to do. I'm available, so send me a comment, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.